So here we are with the Red Boat Salt Salami. It is finally time to crack it open and try. I'm telling you, it already smells a little funky. This recipe here was actually a kind of let's see what happens kind of recipe. I typically make salami around the holidays for gifts, and I had two planned out, and I thought, you know what, let me just open up my spice bin and kind of see where it takes me for inspiration. Looking around, and I saw this bag of red boat salt. If you don't know about the red boat fish sauce, this salt is a byproduct made after the fish sauce is made. So I tried it, right? The red boat salt with the red boat salt here, and it is an umami bomb. It is like MSG times 10. So it really intrigued me because, you know, making salami during the aging and fermentation process and everything, you're going to get its own essence of umami. But I thought maybe if I put this in there, it could multiply that. It could jump that up. The ingredients here say anchovy and sea salt. So I figured this would be a very cool ingredient. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I made it, how I came up with the recipe, how I fermented it and aged it, and then we are going to try this out. But now, let's take a look on how I created this.
To start this batch of salami off, I'm going to be using beef and pork. The beef being a choice or higher chuck roast, and just cutting it into cubes small enough to fit into my grinder. And for the pork, I got this bone-in pork shoulder that I will just take out the blade bone and anything unsightly like coagulated blood or something. Cube it up as well, and we are set to grind. And for that, I'll be using my STX Turbo Force grinder with an 1/8 inch plate.
There is a meaning buried within the sound.
Through the process, we are looking for nice particle definition and no smearing of the fat or the meat. So make sure the meat is cold and the plate lock is tight. And for the recipe, I'm literally going to come up with it in front of you. So beef came out to about 1/3 of the protein, while pork was about 2/3. I converted pounds to kilograms because working with percents in this metric is much easier for me. So this is how I set up my recipe scale when I write it down. This number being the total meat in kilos. This section is for the ingredient's name plus percent of said ingredient based off the total meat's weight. And this section is for how many grams to weigh out for each ingredient. To start, I'll have kosher salt at 2%, then 1/4% of pure salt number 2 containing sodium nitrite and nitrate. And for the star of the show, the red boat salt. I'll put it at 0.3%, which to me matches the same level as I would add MSG to any other dish. I'll also add 1% of brown sugar for a little sweetness. And I then add the typical 0.3% dextrose, 0.022 bacteria culture, and 1% distilled water to bloom the culture in for about 30 minutes prior to mixing. Speaking of bacteria cultures, I just want to thank this video sponsor, Craft Butcher's Pantry, an online store that provides and supports all your needs for curing meats professionally or as a pastime. You'll find unique casings, high-quality spices, and fermentation cultures, and many other cool items to support your projects. Check out Craft Butcher's Pantry. Link is in the video description below. Now, mixing this small amount of salami is pretty easy. I will just put everything into a bowl and punch and fold until a sticky bind is created like so. I'll be stuffing this mix in a 29-32mm natural hog casing and make about 5-inch links by twisting one towards me and then the next away from me to stay tightly linked. I'll pop any air pockets I see with the back of my knife because I lost my sausage pricker. I'll then take the extra meat out of the stuffing tube and roll it up to be my pH tester so I don't have to cut open a cased link. I'll be fermenting in my smaller wine fridge at about 80 degrees Fahrenheit with a room heater plugged in to my Inkbird ITC 308, which maintains the desired temp. I keep the salami in bags to ferment to keep the humidity as high as possible. Okay, now let's take a look at my new cure chamber. Oh yeah, this big baddie daddy is awesome. I'm about to remove this fenugreek salami, aka sujuk, to make room for the new projects. Okay, 12 hours later, the tester chubs are feeling firm and ready to test. With my calibrated pH meter, it's reading 5.5 pH. So these guys probably need another 6 to 8 hours to hit 5.3. Super quick note on degree hours, which is the amount of time at a certain temperature that you need to hit 5.3 pH. Guys, if this is your first time curing salami, you need to read this. Good manufacturing practices for fermented and dried meats tells you in detail how to be as safe as possible during the process. Link in description, back to the video. To control the environment, I have all the things. A fan, a humidifier and dehumidifier connected to this Inkbird humidity controller. With new salami going in, I like to raise the humidity much higher, in this case 78% relative humidity. Okay, 3 days in, looking good. Still tacky outside, and the humidity is staying around 80%. 6 days in, and you can see a little natural white mold growing, which is a good sign. Now we are 10 days in, and they are starting to firm up nice. Okay, I pulled these at 30 days, and I got a little bit busy with life, so I didn't do a 20-day update. But now they are ready, and they're looking rockin'.
Okay, so we are going to try the salami now. It smells really good. Smells like a nice, clean salami smell, I should say. Nothing off-putting. Like, you know, if you smell this, it's like in your face. Okay, so let's give it a go. Wow. Okay. That's very good. I would say it has a very clean salami flavor. You know, I didn't put anything else really other than salt, sugar, and this here. I think this describes it the best. The essence of umami is not overwhelming. I wouldn't say it's underwhelming either. Probably right in the middle. I think this would go really well with like on a charcuterie board or on a plate or whatever, and you know, with a milder cheese that wouldn't overwhelm it. A cracker, you know, just like a regular Cars cracker or something like that. Maybe a little fig jam. This does have like a little bit of a sweetness to it. I have the recipe here. I think I would only adjust maybe this just by a little bit. I'd raise it up. I put a 0.3 by weight. I think I would raise it up to maybe 0.8. All in all, I'm pretty happy with this test batch here. Guys, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video, that's going to help me out big time. Again, it's all for the love of meat. Matt the Butcher, out.